Good evening, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. So good to be with you tonight. 4 weeks without seeing one another is too long. We really missed you. I really missed you. But it's good that we are together again. And the Lord bless you. Goeienaand. Al die mooie mense, die Here is hier en die. So goed om met u te wees vanaand. Bagaetsho, dumelang. Morena a le hlohonolofatse haholo, ne re le hopotse thata. Le perile bagaeno, le perile. Xikwembu xi mi katekisa. Sanibonani bakithi. Siyabonga ukuthi nibe nathi tonight. Niyazi ukuthi ngiyafunda, ningahleki, ngiyafunda. But it's good to have you all. The Lord bless you, the Lord bless you. From my side, we are looking forward to a great night, a great program. And from now on, it will be every Tuesday night we will be together. No breaking, even December. Okay, we'll discuss December. Whether you want to tune in on December or you want a break, we'll still talk about that. But until December, we will be together every night on Tuesdays. So from me, that's it. Welcome. I'm not alone. As always, I have a competent co-pilot. The pilot that's able to switch seats and other things that are done. You know, he's a very efficient one. You know, a few times he came late, he joined us on air. So if one can do that, what can they do? If he can join the flight on air, he has been able to do that. So my co-pilot, DP, so good to have you tonight. And the people want to hear, and the people also missed you a lot. As we miss them, they also missed you. So please let them hear your voice.
Well, thank you, President. Certainly, indeed, as you indicated, it's good to be back, and a month seems like more than a year. And it's amazing how just this short time of being away seems as if it's been ages. But we've also missed you, President, and I think you're going to be sharing about where you've been and what you've experienced from the places that you visited. And so we're also looking forward to hearing from you, sir, from your short time away. But it's always good to be back speaking to our members and our supporters. And we just here again to remind you that South Africa needs the ACDP and the ACDP needs you. Bless you, sir.
Thank you so much, co-pilot. I agree 100% with you. People must understand that we must not be judged by the results of the last elections. God has placed and raised the ACDP for a divine purpose. That purpose has not manifested yet. It is going to happen. It is true. South Africa needs the ACDP. It is a privilege to be part of the ACDP. Ladies and gentlemen, now we want to hear from you. If you didn't miss us, be honest and say, hi guys, I didn't miss you. You should not even be on the screen because I didn't miss you. Let's be honest, but we want to hear what you're saying. Who is the first to say, I really missed my president and his deputy? Nora Mali. Nora Mali from around the corner. Where? From Phosphorus. Thank you very much. She's saying, good evening, Honorable President, co-pilot, and ACDP family. It's a pleasure to hear from our leaders. We missed these sessions.
And Palesa Yates says, good evening, ACDP family and my president and deputy. Good evening, Palesa.
Vision Mudau. Good evening, President, NDP. Good evening, sir.
Jamil Isup, greetings, Honorable President and the ACDP family. So excited that we are back indeed, Jamil.
Yeah, no, you are right, sir. Thank you, Jamil. We missed you. We missed you. Bongani Ngema, all the way from Soweto. He says, "Good evening, Mr. President, the DP and the HCDP family. Good evening, sir."
Demetrius Dudley, better known as Demi. Greetings, Mr. President. Greetings, Demi.
Danielson says, "Welcome back. We missed you." Thank you for joining, Danielson. We missed you too.
Lehako Palane, hello, sir. Well, hello, Leko.
Hello, sir. Okay. After that, sir, we have Joy Peterson, who's saying, "Good evening, Mr. President and DP and ACDP family. Shalom, shalom, Joy."
And Cindy Sibui, good evening, Mr. President, Deputy President, and ACDP family. Good evening, Cindy.
Kathy Stewart, "Good evening, Mr. President, Mr. Deputy President, and ACDP family." Good evening, Kathy.
Joseph Nyalungu, good evening, Honorable President. We also missed you with the DP. Thanks for coming back on air. Thank you, Joseph.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, sorry, sir. Wonderful. Shalom, 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 Honorable President, the Honorable DP, and the lovely ACDP family. Shalom, Norman Mkonza, sir.
Tambo and Mokoena. Good evening, Mr. President, Deputy and ACDP family. The flight is about to take off. Can't wait to hear a way forward from now after a terrible blow of the election. Ready to run for 2026. Indeed, we are going to be running.
All right. Thank you very much for those greetings. Just to mention that tonight we are not going to talk about the way forward. We will do that next week. We thought that maybe the first meeting on air, we might not have many people who usually are with us because they might not have heard that we are starting again tonight. So next week, we will talk about the way forward. Besides that, the fact is, we still have a great program ahead of us. A program that is going to be valuable, or a topic that's going to be very valuable, inspirational, and educative, because we all have to make decisions. Those who have pensions insured somewhere, kept somewhere, we hear that it can be split into two. I don't want to talk much about that, but that is the main thing that we'll be looking at tonight. We, as my deputy said, we were out. I took a break. The first time I went to a doctor and said, "Doctor, I'm not feeling well, something is not right." After asking questions and answering those questions, he said, "You need a break, a month or two. You need a break." And he even said, "I advise you not to take a break and stay in South Africa, because what has exhausted you will still be with you and around you." He said, "My advice is go outside the country." Fortunately, our daughter, Olga, who is based in Charlotte, North Carolina, in America, with her family, has been saying, "Dad, you must come and see our new house. You must come and see, please come and see where we live, where we stay, where we hide in the evenings." So my wife and I decided, okay, let's go to America to rest. The main purpose, to rest. I had opportunities to preach. I had the request to preach, and I said, no, no, no. My doctor's advice is I must rest. So I've been given an instruction by my doctor that I am no more 45. There is a pill called Salusa 45. It energizes people around that age, I'm told. He said, you are no more 75, you need to slow down a bit. So DP obviously is still much younger than me, and Steve Swart, they are going to continue running at full speed. I'll run with them, but I'll run gently, not at fast speed with them. So when we're in the States, the first week we did nothing. I did not even go outside the house. Stayed in, rested, prayed, looked at videos about what the Antichrist officers and agents want to do, and also saying, Lord, how are we going to stop this? What are we going to do this? Now you know monkeypox is around us. They're talking about it, but we are not planning to stay in the houses. Or whoever can say lockdown, it's not going to happen. I will show you a very interesting video when we talk about this. Okay? A video where Dr. Anthony Fauci, who we are told put the rules that there should be social distancing, masking, everybody, and lockdown, nobody must go out, and other rules. Americans, he was investigated by ordinary people, and they will show you a video where he and his friends are watching a ball game. 3 of them sitting together, no social distancing, no mask. The doctor did not have a mask on. And yet, people all over the world were forced to put on masks. You realize something is wrong. How can the man make rules for others, like a Pharisee, tell people to do something that he's not doing himself? But that's for another day. So we saw among the videos, we saw that one also, that we are going to share with you, because we need to know how we are going to respond to whatever government is going to say. And before they say something about it, we are going to not react, but we are going to initiate, we are going to be proactive and do something for government even to know that, hey, these people are vaker, let's vaker. We are not going to allow ourselves to make the mistakes we made in 2020 with COVID. All right, and then maybe the last thing I must say before we hear the champions that are with us tonight. After 1 week, the following week, then I said, okay, I'm feeling better. I'm now going to walk outside and ride my bicycle. We rode a bicycle, and we went twice or thrice to a park with my grandchildren. We were riding bikes. We'll show you the visuals of that sometime. So that's a little bit about what we're doing. It was the doctor's advice. Go and rest. Find a place to rest somewhere. So we feel rested a bit, but we are back home. So good to be back home, and we are ready to put our hands to the plow again and start plowing and start sowing and start telling people about what's ahead and what the way forward is. Okay, brothers and sisters, I'm sure you are saying, hey, I want to hear about this, my pension. My pension, 2 years. What am I going to do? 2 possibilities. What are we going to do? Okay, the DP is going to be to break the ice on this matter. He spoke a few times when we were not here, and we missed some of what he said because of a difference of time. So DP, is my honor, my brother and my colleague, to hand over the mic to you. And then after you shall have spoken, you brought us also a guest, a man of experience who has been, okay, let me leave that to the DP. He, Ndate Kerusentad Ubaba, Ubaba Bernard, Mr. Bernard Hathril. He's going to be introduced by the DP, but he's a highly experienced person who's going to address us after the DP has spoken to us. Over to you, sir.
Well, thank you, President. And again, indeed, certainly good to have you and the First Lady back. So we look forward now to continuing with the work where we left off. Trust again that you've been rested, we certainly appreciate the fact that you've followed doctor's orders, because at times we ill-treat our bodies, and it's important to take care of these bodies that God has given to us if we are wanting to be fruitful in the kingdom. So indeed, I think it's good to have you back, and look forward to our conversations and growing the ACDP together. So while you were away, President, as you said, areas that one of the things that landed on my desk was the two-pot system. I can't exactly tell you. I think it was Kino maybe that could have sent me some. There was a request for an interview, and I've had about 3 to 4, maybe 5 interviews on the two-pot system. Most of them I think were radio interviews. And obviously, there's been lots of concern, speculation about whether this is good, whether it's not good, what is it actually. And so I'm just going to give an overview, and thereafter I'm going to hand over to one of the specialists, a good friend of mine, as you've briefly introduced him, Bernard Hathril. And so he will come on after I've just given this brief overview. I think that we all understand that during the COVID period, some 2 to 3 million South Africans lost their jobs. Many of those South Africans who lost their jobs really struggled. Those who were still gainfully employed, many of them also had to take salary cuts. Many businesses closed, and it was a difficult time for many South Africans, and indeed a difficult time for our economy. Post-COVID, while other countries' economies in your developing world and the first world nations, the economies began to grow and pick up again, South Africa's economy remained very sluggish. Our economy has barely grown at 1% per annum over the last decade or so. And so this is clearly not sufficient in order to create jobs. And so losing 2 to 3 million jobs on top of, we currently have about 12 million, if not more, South Africans that are unemployed, one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. And so the poor decisions that was taken by government during the COVID period resulted in many losing their jobs, many businesses closing, and those who were employed. The rate of inflation has outstripped the salary increases that they've received. And so while many have had to take salary cuts during the COVID period, their salary increases have not caught up with the creep of inflation eating into their salaries. So understanding that we have over about 26 million South Africans receiving social welfare, the economy is not growing. We've had the riots also in 21, the July riots, and knowing that poverty is increasing. We have one of the highest also poverty index rates in the world, one of the highest Gini coefficients of some 0.7%. The gap between the rich and the poor in South Africa is the highest possibly in the world. So government needed to look at a system to provide some kind of relief to those that are struggling. What many South Africans were doing was resigning because of the difficult times that they were facing economically. Some were resigning, leaving their jobs just to access their retirement funds. because they were possibly about to lose their homes. Perhaps there was a dire need in the family, and they just did not have the money to cover those particular needs. And so many South Africans actually resigned to access their retirement funds, where they were able to take, a 33% at the time, and so to tie them over this the difficult period. So what government decided to do was introduce what they called the two-pot system. Now, the two-pot system kicked in as from the 1st of September. I think that what we need to understand, though, is that it's, for some, it's actually a three-pot system. So for those who actually do have a retirement fund, your retirement fund will go into what is called a vested pot. So that, in a sense, is the first pot. As from the 1st of September, everybody now that is contributing towards retirement, there are two pots that your retirement contributions will go into. And the two pots, as from the 1st of September, will be the savings pot and then the retirement pot. So for those who actually do have a pension, it is what is now the vested that you can't touch. So you are not going to be able to touch what you've already committed to, which is called the vested pot. But as from the 1st of September, you're now going to have two pots. So in your savings pot, you will, firstly, from those who have the vested pot, they would be able to take up to 30,000 Rand. So 10%, say you've got R1 million in your retirement savings, in your pension fund, you'd be able to take either 10%, but only up to a maximum of 30,000. So 10% of R1 million is 100,000 Rand, but you can't put the 100,000 into the retirement pot, into the savings pot. It's only up to a maximum of 30,000. So 30,000. So if you have 50,000 savings, then 50,000 retirement pension, then 10% of that will be 5,000. So 5,000 will go into your retirement pot. So that is the savings, 10% into the savings pot. So the savings pot, then you would have, as from the 1st of September, 33% will go into your savings, and up to a maximum of 30,000, and you would have 66% going into your retirement pot. 33% into the savings pot, and 66% into the retirement pot. If you wish to withdraw, I have issued a statement, and the statement that I've issued is saying that you should only withdraw. I cautioned that one should not withdraw from your savings pot, not unless you have an emergency. So only if there's an emergency, something like you need to buy a house and you don't have the funding for it, you need to save your home from being sold because of some difficulty that you're facing, or perhaps even a medical emergency. So my recommendation is that it should only be used in the event of extreme emergencies, and it should not be used to go on holiday and to buy luxury vehicles and luxury goods and so on. Because if you do that, if you access your the savings pot and to buy luxury goods, essentially what you're doing is you are eroding your total amount that you would have when you actually do retire. And so you are only able to withdraw from your savings pot once per annum. So once you've withdrawn from that savings pot in a year, you are not able to withdraw until the next year. And remember, it is only 30,000 Rand that can go in, and it depends obviously on your contribution and what the amount is on the contribution. So it's up to a maximum of 30,000 Rand. And in order for you to withdraw, there has to be also a minimum of 2,000 Rand in the savings pot. Now, before you can withdraw, so here's also another challenge, perhaps that will serve as a disincentive for those who want to use the retirement pot, the savings pot. For those who want to use the savings pot, here's a disincentive not to use it unnecessarily. If you do want to access, number one, the savings pot, you have to be registered with SARS. So you've got to have a tax number. So that amount will be taxed, and it will be taxed at the marginal rate, which is the highest rate of tax that one can be taxed at, the marginal rate. If you keep it and you take it at retirement, there's a retirement rate, tax rate, so it will still be taxed, but at a lower level. But if you choose to take your savings, the savings pot, it will be taxed. And I think that Bernard will probably be speaking a little bit more to that. So that ought to serve as an investment. So number one, you must be registered as a taxpayer. And if you are owing SARS money, they will first take what you owe. So if you're owing SARS, they will first take it, take their portion before you get yours. I also think that with regards to SARS, you've got to, like I said, you've got to have the SARS, your tax number, and then you have to apply for a tax directive. So it is only once you receive the tax directive from SARS to say that you are now cleared, you are a registered taxpayer, you are not owing SARS anything, owing, maybe you've come to an agreement with SARS and you're keeping to that particular agreement, and then SARS will issue you with the tax directive, and only then to withdraw. So again, the statement, the position that I have and the advice that I have given on behalf of the ACDP, these are your retirement funds. And your retirement funds are there to ensure that when you do retire, you do not become a burden on the state, on your family, on your friends and your relatives. So do not access those particular funds willy-nilly, so that you are able to, when you do retire, able to retire in comfort, relative comfort, without being a burden on others. And that's the advice, President, that we have given from the ACDP. So I trust that that has been somewhat helpful, and to a large extent just gives you an overview of the two-pot system. And for those who have a retirement fund already or a pension fund, it will be a 3 pots, because that money stays in what is called the vested pot. For those contributing as from the 1st of September, just 2 pots, 66% into the retirement pot and 33% into the savings pot. All right. So, President, I'm going to pause there, sir. And if you wish to come in before we introduce our dear friend Bernard, please, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Well spoken. Those who did not understand, I'm sure they understand. There is a caution you made that I also want to emphasize. If possible, please don't touch your fund. Please don't do that. There is a temptation. We are going to be taxed highest rate when you take that money, from that money. But those who are not going to take from it, but who are going to leave everything in the vested fund, in that pot, then they are going to be taxed at a lower rate. You can already see that this is going to benefit government more than the owner of the fund. And I saw also a a young councillor, Nicole Sukers, who says, one needs to be wise. Now, the DP also used it wise and caution. I want to add my voice today, be wise, be cautious. So let me read what Nicole said. She said, one needs to be wise with the two-pot system, no matter how dire the need. Rather negotiate with friends, ask the Lord to help you open another door than run for that fund. So be wise, be cautious, and my advice also, before we hear the expert, don't touch it. Don't touch it. 30,000 is easy to raise 30,000. You can ask to clean the gas, wash cars, to raise that 30,000. But whatever the need might be, find people to help you with that 40,000, do their garden and raise that money, but don't touch your pension fund. Okay, DP, let's hear from the experts, sir. Thank you for
thank you again, President, for that wise counsel. So we do have an expert, and I have been friends with Bernard for many years. Bernard is also an ACDP member, and not long after I joined the ACDP, we found him and his wife Joanne and Marshali, Joanne's mum, found them in the ACDP, and they've been faithful members of the ACDP for many years. President to Parliament, I changed my financial advisors, and Bernard is my financial advisor. And so when you asked if we had someone, an expert on to speak about the two-pot system, immediately he came to mind. So not only is he an ACDP member, a trusted ACDP member, their branch up in Durban North is one of the best run branches that the ACDP has within the Durban North, within the greater eThekwini area. And so the systems that they put in place for their business, they also put that into the ACDP in terms of how they run their branch. Bernard has many years within the insurance industry. I think he probably has about 4, close on to 5 decades of experience within the insurance industry. And so he is well suited to and an expert and capable to speak on the subject of the two-pot system. He has an opinion with regards to the two-pot system, and so we're going to allow for him to share and to speak based on the opinion that he has, and the caution, if there are cautions that he would bring. So Bernard, my friend, thank you, and glad to have you. Over to you.
Well, thank you very much, President, and thank you very much for inviting me. You have already said that 90% of the people are going to be affected in South Africa with two-pot. I don't, in my opinion, think that this is going to be good for anybody in South Africa, due to the fact that a lot of the people are going to get the money, whether they realize they couldn't or not, they get the money. And this is going to benefit the tax office. Unfortunately, they tend to make more money than people who get the money. The two-pot system is unique to South Africa, on top of the fact that it's not benefit the young people of South Africa. When you take your 30,000, as you've already said, Wayne, it is going to be taxed. And therefore, the people who think they get 30,000 are not getting 30,000. If there's tax owing, that's going to be paid first. So what we're going to get out of it is not a lot of money. My opinion is that,
Bernard, my apologies, President. Bernard, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Right. There's an echo coming, and so I'm struggling to hear you. So I'm not sure whether there are others. If you have two devices on, sometimes it actually causes that echo. So if you could have maybe one device, Josh, President, I'm not sure if you are able to hear Bernard clearly.
Can you hear
Well,
me
that's
now?
the reason why.
I've only got
Okay,
one
maybe.
mic on.
If I may ask, is there anything different you did before you came on now? Because in the beginning, you were just very clear. We heard everything. Okay, but
Yes.
carry on. We'll make a plan, sir.
Let me see what I can do about turning my sound down.
Okay, that's better.
Just give me a second.
Yeah, that's sounding better already.
How's that?
Yes, perfect.
Better.
Okay. So, in my opinion, this is not going to be good for the South African population, because whether you have portioned them, President Ruto and Wayne and myself, they are going to take the money. And I have about 10 people who are right now wanting to take the money against my better judgment. The reason why I say that is, on average, at the moment, the South African public who are in pension funds are going to receive 2 to 3 billion rand as a pension. And if they take the 1/3 and use the balance, they are not going to get an income that is sustainable for them for the rest of their lives. So the two-pot, when you get a chance to take your money, you are going to take it. I know that. And as much as I'm going to say don't, they're going to take it. So unfortunately, the two-pot system has given them an opportunity to get out of debt, but take the money and going to affect the long-term savings plan. I did an exercise with a 2 million rand, 2/3 capital amount of money, and I've said that in the event of their death, the 2 million rand is preserved to pay the beneficiaries, the wife or children. The income will be 17,000 rand a month out of 2 million. After tax and after the portion that's going to go to the buying of the preservation, out of 17,000, they're only going to get 12,000. Now, if you ask me, a man can sustain himself on 12,000 rand a month, it's impossible. Today, the cost of living is rising, and as a result, most people are going to be unable to sustain their living. I've got another example. 5 million can give you a level income of 47,000, after tax 37,000. Now, that 5 million, if he doesn't touch any of the money between now and retirement. But unfortunately, they are going to take their 30,000 that they're allotted every year. So as much as I think the two-pot system is not going to be a good solution for South Africa, I think it will be a good solution for the government, because that's how they're going to get money back into the system. So from my point of view, as long as we all understand it, the money is only for a rainy day. And a rainy day is going to come whether we like it or not. And that's the only time you need to use the money. Never before or after. Just on their own occasion when there is desperate need. And as President Mushi said, try and do everything possible outside of your pension fund or provident fund or retirement annuity funds. Look for other solutions rather than take the money out of your fund. Because it is so easy to touch it that you're going to take it. And I'm very, very unfortunate to say that everybody will consider taking the money. So, President Michu and Wayne, I think you covered quite a lot of it, of the mind talk when you were talking earlier on. I can't add much more to what you wanted me to say, other than the fact, in my opinion, this is not good for South Africa. And the ACDC was in charge. I don't think you would have allowed this to happen. And if I can stop there, any questions, please ask me.
Well, thank you very much. Finally, we could hear much better than earlier. Good advice given. Truth has been told. This two-pot system is going to be good for government.
Agreed.
Because they're going to, so it's going to be good for government, not for you. Yeah. So if you are wise, let that pension continue growing with interest rather than you tapping on it. I will repeat one of the things I said earlier. MAGA plan. Ask people, can I do your garden? I have an emergency. Can I wash your car? Ladies, can I clean your house? Can I do, I need to raise money, do something, do something, do something. And the other thing that you should consider, my wife, this past week, made a dress. She had a material. She made a dress without a sewing machine from scratch within 3 and 4 hours. Imagine a dress. Maybe next week, if I remember, I'll ask her to come and show you that dress. You cannot think a person can do that without a sewing machine. So I'm saying this in case there's a lady say, hey, if I had a sewing machine, I could do this and this. Aye. She makes dress without, only with a needle and a thread, a fine dress. So there are many ways we can do to try and raise funds. All right, now it's question time. The first question comes from Robert Nickel. He's asking, or he says, what is not clear to me is whether the two-pot system is applicable to those who are on a defined benefit pension scheme? And if so, how would the values be determined? Also, if one is already on a pension, can one withdraw funds as per the two-pot system? A good one for you, Bennett. Let's hear.
Well, first of all, you can withdraw money out of your defined benefit pension. It is going to be exactly the same as any other. The government pension fund is a defined pension fund, and you will be able to draw money out of that fund. Just to give you an example. What was the other question?
All right, let me read the whole question again. What is not clear to me is whether the two-pot system is applicable to those who are on a defined benefit pension scheme.
It is.
It is. Okay. If so, how would the values be determined? And also, If one is already on a pension, can one withdraw funds as per the two-pot system?
If you're on a pension, that doesn't apply, because anything from 55, before you were 55 on the year 2021, nobody's going to be affected by the two-pot system. So if you're already on a pension fund, it doesn't apply. So
All right.
So the defined pension, if you haven't gone on pension, you can withdraw money. If you're already on a pension fund, you cannot, because it doesn't affect you in any way, and that remains the same. I hope that
Thank you, DP. Oh, sorry.
I hope that answers.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. DP, you want to add before we move on?
No, I think Bernard has covered it, President. I think he's covered it very accurately and clearly. So I'm happy with the answer. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Now, the second question comes from Ntabiseng Sikano. Ntabiseng says, in addition to the exorbitant tax of the two-pot system or two-pot retirement fund, administrators have varying admin fees deducted also from the 30,000 rents.
Yes, there is going to be a fee to withdraw money. I don't know what the fee is, but each company and each pension fund manager will define that fee at the time. But there is going to be a fee.
President, maybe if I could come in here, because this was something that perhaps we had omitted to mention. We only spoke about, Bernard, the tax implications, which will reduce that you actually apply for from the savings pot. So not only then will there be a deduction of the amount in terms of tax, but an administration fee, which you said at this stage you're not sure exactly what that is going to be. Maybe different for different retirement funds. I'm not, or administrators. I'm not sure. But so there's a double deduction in a sense, tax as well as administration cost.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm just looking at a document that was presented to me this afternoon. Why must you pay fees on a withdrawal? The administrator of the fund has to do the work, so they're going to charge you, the client, to take your own money out. And I don't know what it is. It doesn't tell me what it is at this stage.
Yeah.
All right.
So you're going to have tax. If there's a tax outstanding, you're going to pay that, and then you're going to pay a fee. So you're never going to get the 30,000 Rand as you think you're going to get.
All right. We are waiting for more questions. I will read comments as we are waiting for more questions. Now, Nora Mali says, thank you for the clarity. There were too many speculations on this issue. Hope it does not affect our retirement annuity. So a big thank you to Nora and to Bernard and to my co-pilot. Thank you so much.
Perhaps just a question there, President, on the retirement annuity, Bernard, because there's a difference between the pension fund defined benefits and the RA. How does the two-pot system, for those who actually have an RA, is the retirement annuity treated the same as the pension defined benefit and so on?
Yes, it is. The government is not going to make any distinction on any form of retirement vehicle. They just want you to take your 30,000 Rand. They're going to split the money, as you go, Wayne, and put it into the pot. The saving portion and the prepared 2/3. So when you get to retirement, if you haven't taken any money out of any of the funds, you will get your lump sum tax free. But if you decide to take it beforehand, every year to 30,000 Rand, you are going to be taxed, whether you're in a pension fund, retirement annuity, defined package, or whatever. It's going to happen.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Bernard. Thank you very much, Bernard. Your last shot, the last thing I want to say, because you're almost wrapping and closing now. And what are your last words to ACDP workers who have worked so hard for their money? Just say, I, as a fundi, if I may call you, in this area of savings, pensions, my last word to you is 1, 2, 3. And thereafter, the DP will also give his last word of wisdom, and then we close. Bernard?
My last words to everybody who's listening: please don't touch your money. There isn't enough money in anybody's retirement annuity or pension funds at the moment. In my opinion, I'm getting up too many people who have not got enough money to go on pension. When you start taking your 30,000 Rand whenever you can, it's going to decrease your capital and you're going to be in trouble. Please don't touch it. Thank you, President. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The specialist has spoken loud and clear. Please don't touch that money. He who has an ear, let him hear what the wise are saying. Please don't touch that money. Government is going to benefit more than you with the taxes, administrative fees that they're going to impose on you. So if you don't want to cry later on, please don't touch that money. DP?
Well, President, I think I couldn't have said it better than Bernard has. So again, just want to thank him for making himself available and really appreciate the wisdom that he shared with us also tonight. And clearly, I think the 40, 50-year experience that he has in the industry has shown tonight. So Bernard, thank you so much. Please, again, send my greetings to Joanne and Marshali and appreciate your friendship over the years, as well as your commitment to the vision of the ACDP as the Lord has given it to our president. So thank you. Thank you for your friendship, and thank you tonight for just sharing your wisdom. President, sadly, when I looked at some of the comments, when we put the statement up on our ACDP chat, there were some of the young people who said, I'm going to take my money and I'm going to chow it before government does. Well, so the thinking is that, you're saving this money for government to take. So that's kind of the thinking. But hopefully there have been some of those who have listened and they've heard and are able to glean from the wisdom that comes from those who've been in the finance industry for so many years, such as Bernard. So those are my parting words. Like you said, President, let's learn from those who have the experience. And again, South Africa needs the ACDP and the ACDP needs you.
I'm not sure. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, DP. I'm not sure that other parties are doing the same thing, empowering their members. We know that there are those who chow money of taxpayers with government. That's why they might encourage them, take. I heard that Kosati also say, it's a good idea. The workers are happy. Workers are going to cry at the right time when they need that money the most. But learning from the wise are saying The experienced are saying, those who even hear the way the voice of the Lord are saying, don't touch that money. Well, with those words, wise words from informed friends, I must maybe also say to Bernard, thank you very much. Tell your family members, we greatly appreciate their support over the years. He told me that his wife, Joanne, was a candidate for the ICDP. So thank you very much, sir. We applaud her. We need more friends who will allow their husbands and their wives to be candidates for the ACDP. Thank you for being with us tonight. The Lord bless you. Show. The Lord bless you really, really much tonight. And have a blessed evening. Until we meet again, the same spot, same time, on a Tuesday evening. We say tonight to you, God bless you.